Yes. What's going on? Chaos. Law of chaos states that no one knows anything. Price can and will do anything. Price can climb to extreme valuations, to the point of absurdity, and drop to prices so low you can't believe it. Hold on just a second. I gotta close this door. All of a sudden it got noisy outside. Chaos theory states that no one knows anything. I know that's hard for people to believe because you actually think that somebody knows where something's going and they don't. I know. You think you do. You think trading is about price prediction and direction. And in a sense it is. And yet it's not. It is and it isn't. In the sense that we don't know, man. You have no idea. Law of chaos states that no one knows anything. Price can and will do anything. Price can climb to extreme price valuations to the point of absurdity and yet continue to go higher and drop to prices so low you can't believe it's possible. Chaos theory is the interdisciplinary theory stating that within the apparent randomness of chaotic complex systems, there are underlying patterns, or what we might call interconnectedness, a constant feedback loops, or repetition, self-similar, fractals, self-organization. This behavior is known as deterministic chaos, or simply chaos. And chaos theory is what rules the stock market. In the beginning of the money flow on page 1, it says the money flow system is fractal. Fractals a never-ending pattern. Fractals are infinitely complex patterns that are self-similar across different scales. Now, if you listened to the definition of chaos theory, it's randomness or complex systems. There are underlying patterns of interconnectedness, constant feedback loops, repetition, self-similar, or fractals. What fractals mean is you could do it with 1, you could do it with 10, you could do it with 20. It's fractal. So Warren Buffett could buy 1 million shares and you buy 2 shares. The system and the nature of the business is fractal. Driven by recursion, fractals are images of dynamic systems, the pictures of chaos. And what appears to be chaos turns into a pattern. Pull this up. And this pattern of price movement that I began to discover about a decade ago, I began to call the money flow, was just this movement of price. And that while it is fractal and while it is chaotic and while it is still a pattern or repetition. And while not for certain, what it did do was bring order to chaos. I assume you can hear me. Yeah, let's see. And this pattern, while it wouldn't look perfect every time, would look very similar. When you get into the world of trading or investing, and investing really is trading because at some point you will trade those stocks, whether it be when you die, somebody else will trade them. Your estate will trade them. They will trade hands at some point. No one in your family has the ability to just hold things. It's one of the hardest things to do in the universe, to keep something. Most of the things you have at some point will be taken from you. Most of the things that you start and say, I'm going to do, you won't do. The gyms you join, you'll quit. The boyfriends you find, you'll break up with. The new hobbies you start, you won't complete. The books you buy, you won't finish reading. The hardest thing to do as a human is to be consistent. This is what makes simple, repetitive acts over and over and over turns people into great people. Often what we see as greatness is just the mundane, the simplest of things repeated over and over and over and over and over to the point where other people would quit. And that person doesn't quit. And fast forward 5 years, 10 years. Wow, that person's talented. Really? Maybe they just didn't quit. And that's going to be you with trading. Chances are you'll quit. Everyone who'll trade with me will likely at some point quit. That's what people do. But the people who don't quit and who stay with it, continue to work and refine will rise to incredible levels and accumulate massive amounts of wealth. The stock market's in constant chaos. It swings from extreme highs to extreme lows. It can go into long periods of sideways movement, what we refer to as consolidation, that at first glance makes no sense. Up, down, or sideways, stock prices are pushed around daily by a constant flood of new data points. Each new data input affects the emotions and the decision makings of millions of participants. Millions. Each player in the market can potentially interpret the data differently. Players with different points of view, with different goals and expectations, are all looking at the same stock. Out of this chaos, we can spot patterns of price movement. Patterns that can be, when properly applied to the right stocks at the right time, produce what we refer to in trading as an edge. Defining that edge is what winning trades are all about. And we could say winning investing. I hope my edge becomes your edge. That's the opening of my book that I've been working on, From Chaos to Cash. Chaos. If I had to describe the stock market in one word, that's the word I would use. Chaos. It's chaotic. It's chaotic. It is very chaotic, man. Very chaotic. We're looking at the chart here of Pfizer. This is one of the prettier ones we've had here in the last few minutes, last few days, few weeks, whatever you want to call it. Chaos. But one of the things that I've learned over the years about success is always just organized chaos. And we have to find a way, even in your own life, your job, the hecticness of life itself. Are you serious? Poor connection. We find chaos. Yet somehow we got to make a pattern out of that chaos so that it gives us an edge. The world and the universe are perfectly balanced. You ever notice that? The planets never collide with each other. The root and trees are always just long enough to stabilize the tree. The sun never gets too close to the earth, and the rivers and streams always lead back to the lakes or the sea. The fact is, nature has a very crafty system that eliminates the weak from gaining too much power and authority, and nature purges itself of people who will not be able to handle the pressure. The stock market is like nature. It purges the people who can't handle the pressure. Inside of trading, there's basically 3 components to trading: mind, method, and money. And you got to find an answer for these 3: mind, method, money. And it's not the same as to say, well, you got to think positive, or you got to think. It's bigger than that, man. It's bigger than that. Mind, method, money. And we need to constantly be working on these 3 elements. Our mind, right? Part of mind would include things like studying history, right? We have to step outside of ourselves and ask ourselves, has this ever happened before? See, the government and TV will tell you past performance is not indicative to future results, which is complete nonsense. Of course it is. Past is the only thing we have to go on, man. Why do you think they teach history in school? Right? So that we don't repeat it. But history has a way of repeating itself, and it's based on that idea of history repeating itself that the money flow is created. I went through a series of reading and studying like you will. Nothing wrong with that. And I bought courses and I did this and that. In the early days, I would order them in the back of magazines and they would deliver them to me. In the early days when I first started trading, and to put in a trade, you had to call it in on the phone. You had to pick up the phone and call it in. And you had to say it exactly to him. I would like to buy blah, blah, blah at blah, blah, blah. And you had to say it just right. And if you were into futures, that would be different. You couldn't just say, let me get 4 shares of this and that. Not how it worked in the futures market. And, you had to have a minimum $5,000. And I blew out account after account. And I would look for books and courses and I would read things. And everything from, the craziest of shit, moon cycles. And there'd be gurus and people pitching things. Commodities are regulated by the moon, right? Astrological charts. Then you'd have the moving averages and the patterns and the counting number of things. And some of that stuff had some validity to it. A lot of times, nonsense, there's just a little bit of truth. A lot of times that's what makes rumors. There's just a little bit of truth in it. And and as we go through life, you're going to have to cherry pick and find what's true. And that's what the money flow was for me. As I began to go through, there were basic things about trading that were just true. There were things that I'd come across that, moving averages weren't the answer to everything, but they did assist me. And so I began to narrow down, what moving average do I really need? Because a lot of times people are looking at moving averages and you're just looking at it because someone told you to look at it and then you stay with it. And you're like, well, the 50-day moving average. And I hear people talk about the death cross, which is complete nonsense. And yet it stays. And it hangs around in our culture and inside of trading. And people use it mostly by gurus. People trying to play on emotions, the death cross. Ooh, that sounds scary. The death cross. Or the golden cross. It's golden, right? And these things play on our mind and our emotions. And people, because inside of you, you think there's something outside of you that has the answer, so we'll look to other people, like maybe this person has the answer. And that's how they can play on your emotions. And what I began to realize, there were just some basic truths in the stock market. The stock market moves in 4 stages. And these stages really have no reference to anyone's opinion, that everyone just has an opinion, and that intelligence doesn't really play into this. There are really, 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 really smart people that lose all of their money. There was a group called, if you want something interesting to read, and you want to read history instead of spooning or watching fucking sports or staring at the TV and watching some dumb shit that you spend most of your time watching, you could watch the history of the stock market. There was a group called Long-Term Capital Management. Long-Term Capital Management had three Nobel Peace Prize winners in it, in economics, physics, game theory. They were some of the smartest people on planet Earth. And they had created a strategy using options and leverage to print money. In the first year, the firm made over 50% trading. 3 Nobel Peace Prizes. These guys know more about the stock market than you'll ever know. Ever. And in the first year, they made 50%. In the second year, they made over 50%. So money began to flow into their fund. By year 3, they had wrecked the stock market, and their perfect thing of printing money didn't work so well. You know why? Because the thing called chaos theory, because they actually didn't know where the fuck stock market was going, even though they thought they did. And they almost collapsed the entire stock market because they had leveraged themselves to such an extreme level. That's how they were able to make 50% year returns like that. And they had back tested it. Well, guess what they didn't back test? Black swan events, COVID, wars, shit like that. Which often randomness, chaos theory, they left that part out of their equation. The randomness. But here's the thing about randomness. When people get onto that, we always think of it in terms of bad. Guess what? There's good random things. And you're like, what do you mean? I know a lot of people are negative, man. They're always seeing the bad. Always crying about the fiat currency and this and that and the debt and blah, blah, blah. And guess what? They leave out the possibility of shit getting fixed. Good things happening. New technologies. Right? Oh, wait. Pfizer comes up with a thing and now there it goes. We're all getting healthy again. Like, things happen, man. Things happen for the good and the bad. And we can't predict them. Okay? We can't predict them. So as I began to understand this and see that the world is chaotic and that nobody knows where it's going, not even Warren Buffett, I began to develop the money flow. And I began to see that price would clearly move in stages. And it would move sideways. And when I was first learning this, it was from a guy named Stan Weinstein. He has a book called Profit in Bull and Bear Markets. Now, a lot of times I throw these books out, people want to read them. They're not going to show you the money flow, man. Because a lot of times when you get an idea, it's an epiphany from another idea. You ever see that on TV? Someone's talking to someone and then they get that glazed look over, and through a conversation, it has nothing to do with the conversation. It answers a question of something else they've been thinking about. And that's what these books did for me. It wasn't anything they said in the book. It was me answering the question, because God lives inside of you and me. And the same voice that put it in Steve Jobs' head to build the iPhone, put it in Thomas Bell's head to create the telephone, or Edison's head to create the microphone, right? Same spirit. It's in me. It's in you. That same person. So, you say, well, but they're smarter than me. This ain't about being smart. We got Nobel Peace Prize winners in economics losing all their money. So if it was about being smart, they wouldn't have lost all their money. Okay? There's more to it than being smart. There's common sense. There's portfolio management, right? There's intangibles that you can't learn from reading a book, like consistency and belief, conviction, right? You can't teach that, man. You can't hack that, dude. You can't hack when times get tough. You're going to keep doing it. You can't hack that people around you are going to die, and yet you still got to manage your money. You still got to get up and earn a living. You can't manage that, man. That's part of the chaotic nature. Success is always organized chaos. Nature has a very crafty system for eliminating the weak from gaining too much power and authority, and nature purges itself of people who are not able to handle the pressure. I had friends that sold their stocks when Russia invaded the Ukraine out of fear, and that wasn't there like, man, I shouldn't have done that. I said, I know, but it's okay because you're part of the system. Nature had to purge you because you were weak. Don't take that personal. It's just the way nature's designed. And the stock market operates on the randomness of nature. So you're going to get purged. I've been purged myself. Take on too much risk. Get out there and take on 100-to-1 bet on Bitcoin. You're going to get purged. You're going to get purged. It's going to happen. Success is always organized chaos. 93% of traders and investors who give up provide the loss and the capital for the 7% who never give up. The weak traders crumble and give their capital to those who can withstand the chaos of the market. Chaos to cash is for those who want to learn to decode the formula for victory. This is out of my new book. Financial freedom. Those who live paycheck to paycheck do so because they do not have a self-image which would support their ability to be on the other side of chaos. This is not good or bad, it just is. This is just how nature works. Do not quit. Get creative. Do not give up. Be persistent. Stay in the game, because quitting is not an option for you. Just like it was not an option for Oprah or Arnold or Martin Luther King, Gandhi, or even Caesar. And now you. Just vote yourself in and do the do, no matter what chaos the market may bring your way. So the basics of the money flow came about when I began to discover some basic truths, man. And one is, on the daily chart, that price pattern, it would just move sideways. It would go up. It would go sideways. It would come down. It would go sideways. It would go up. It would come sideways. It would go down. It would go sideways. It would go up. It would go sideways. And it would come down. Now, as you begin to add other little things into it, it can mess with your mind, right? You say, well, it didn't go above the 20. That's just one element of the thing. So if we were to remove the 20, let's remove all these moving averages. If I could get everyone to start with no moving averages, I would, but people won't do that. See, if you can trade without indicators, you answer to your higher self. That's when you're truly in tune with the stock market. I don't need a 20-day moving average on here. I do that for the simple-minded people. I do that so other people can see it, because I don't need to see it. I've stared at enough charts. I know exactly where the moving. I don't need it on the screen. I can see it in my mind's eye, man. I can look at this and tell you exactly where the 20-day moving average is. I don't need to put it on my screen, but that requires an amount of mastery, right? And I began to understand that the market had a couple basic concepts, and that wherever price had been before, that's where it was going to go again, like a magnet. It's drawn to it, okay? And if price had been here, then it was going to be drawn to that spot again. If price had been here, it was going to be drawn to that again. If price had been here, it was going to be drawn to that again. And you say, what do you mean? And what I mean is, as price moves, right, and it breaks through one level, it goes to the next. So when price stopped here, and if you notice it started going sideways, we'll talk about what that means. You say, well, how do you know it went sideways? There's at least 4 days where price stopped dropping. That is the definition of sideways. Not 1 day, not 2 days, not 3 days, 4. When price for 4 consecutive days holds a level, we could say at this moment, price is moving sideways. You say, well, will it continue? I don't know. I have no idea. That's what we just talked about. That's chaos, right? I don't know the answer to chaos. Law of chaos states that no one knows anything. Price can and will do anything. Price can climb to extreme price valuations to the point of absurdity and then go even higher. And it can drop to prices so low you can't even believe it. And so what I have to find is these patterns of chaos. So when price drops, I assume it's going to stop here. Well, if it doesn't stop there and then it goes even lower, I assume it's going to go to the next level. Now, in traditional technical analysis, these are called support and resistance levels. That's what people call them. And support means price has stopped there. And, you can argue about how many points do you need for it to be considered, 2, 3, 4, whatever, as you draw your lines, right? And there's all kinds of shit when you get into charts and chart reading. You've got, triangles, and this is a descending triangle, and there's an ascending triangle, and you could say, oh wait, there's a head, there's a shoulder, there's a shoulder. We could do Fibonacci ratio. Just pick which one tickles you, which one makes you giggle. And then you could go with that one, because none of them mean shit. It's still organized chaos. They don't give you any fucking insight. They're just shit you're making up on your head on a chart, okay? They're Fibonacci ratios, and you could be like, well, that's the secret number of the universe. Is it? Is it? But people use them. Now, what makes them work is the fact that you use them consistently. And they can work and they can add value to your trading. But here's what I began to realize. I need to simplify it, man. I need to get rid of all the shit I really don't need. And that's how I begin to construct the money flow. Is what do I need? My video ended. What the fuck? They ended my video on Instagram.
How rude.
I lost internet connection. Can you guys still hear me on YouTube? That was weird. It's not working on Instagram, huh? I don't know why it keeps dropping there. Let's see. It said purge, huh? That's funny. Give me just a second. Well, that was unfortunate. All right, we'll see if we come back on. Messing with my flow, man. The money flow. That's all right, I needed coffee anyway. So we're saying good trading's made up of three things, man. Mind, method, and money. So what you want to do is constantly be working on those three. I'm going to be honest, I don't spend a lot of time working on my mindset anymore. I already settled all that shit. Everybody's going to take different amount of time, man. Some of you guys are going to be struggling with your mind for a long time. And if you got a lot of chaos in your life, you're going to have mindset. The big thing that's going to keep you out of the stock market is going to be how you handle outside of your life. You're constantly arguing with your girlfriend, your wife, your boyfriend. Your trading's going to be all fucked up. It will slip into it, just like your job's going to be all fucked up, right? If you don't have your timing right on your trading, meaning you're trying to day trade while you're at work, you're going to be a horrible employee, which speaks to the universe, which the universe isn't going to let horrible employees do well in the stock market because you're stealing from your employer, and the universe will purge you. So you've got to get these things in alignment. And so as I began to study the money flow, and I began to realize, well, one, the system is fractal, and I don't need indicators to see it. The indicators are there to help the new people, okay? So when you come to the market and you're new, and you're not going to understand concepts like chaos theory, right, or game theory, you're not going to understand that stuff. That's going to take a minute, right? You're not going to understand that the stock market is a never-ending fractal pattern. You're like, man, I don't even know what a fractal is. And it's an infinitely complex pattern that's self-similar across different scales, and it's created by repeating a simple process over and over and over and over again. And it's through that mundane process that we witness and we experience greatness. See, amazing, great piano players got that way by repeating simple patterns over and 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 over. And people who become amazing and in great physical shape or bodybuilders are by repeating a simple pattern like a bench press over and fucking over and over and over. And that's how you become great. Doing the simple and the mundane over and over and over again. And the way that I got to $1 million in the stock market was putting money in over and over and over and over and over again. And it's why you'll hear me when people ask me, what would I do with 10,000 or 30,000? I hate the question because it insinuates that there's one thing to do, that there's one transaction. And it's like, that's not it, man. It's about doing something fucking over and over and over and over and over and fucking over and over and over and over and over. And after other people quit, you're doing it over and over and over. And you keep doing it. So I don't know where to put your one-time fucking transaction. I don't have an answer for that because I don't operate inside of that. That's weakness, and nature will purge you because of the way you perceive the markets. And so I don't want to participate in you getting purged because you will get purged. The fact that you don't know where to put it tells me you're going to get purged. And so, no, I don't want to participate in that. I don't want to participate in that. Right? So what I'm trying to do is create people who are great. And through greatness, sometimes you have to yell at people. And here's what I've figured out. A lot of people don't like to get yelled at. It hurts their feelings. All right, good. Be broke. Because the world's fucking hard, man. The stock market's hard. It's hard. It's chaos. And so you have to guard your mind. So we talked about it. There's 3 aspects of trading: mind, method, money. So if someone around you becomes negative, you must purge them because like a cancer, they will infect everyone. So you ever hear me and people go, oh, this stock is killing me. I will purge you. Suffer and quiet. You don't need to tell us. You suffer. You bought it. You don't need to share your pain. All you're doing is spreading fear. You should be trying to spread opportunity. You should be an ambassador for opportunity. Right? I had a kid the other day. If I bought a dividend stock that paid 15%, how low should I put my stop? I'm like, you're predetermining your sell price? I don't understand. Right? But because you're predicting when you'll sell it. You know that, right? That's what that is. So don't be surprised when it hits. If you put in the order, it's going to hit. They're going to sell you at that price. You understand that, right? So why would you do that? If it's such a good stock and it pays a dividend and you've done your research and you want to get paid from it, wouldn't it be good that it went lower? I mean, everybody talks to me. They want houses to go lower so they can buy some. Well, what the fuck? Why would you put a stop? Are you going to sell your houses because the price comes down? It makes no damn sense, man. Right? But he's trying to do 2 different things in his mind. He's conflicted. He's trying to be a house flipper and collect rent at the same time. You can't do that, man. So you got to get real clear. What is your time frame? What is your goal? What is your purpose? How are you trading? And that's what the money flow can do for you. So yeah, if you're short-term momentum trading, then you don't do it with dividend stocks. That doesn't make any sense. They don't move enough, right? You want to do it with stocks that move, right? So if you're a momentum trader, you need to trade momentum stocks. I mean, right? So this is part of the chaos of the stock market, is that the stock market's constantly trying to purge people. And I've been purged many times. I've blown out many accounts. I've blown out many futures accounts, Forex accounts, options accounts, blown them out. Guess what? Get back up, get back in the game, because greatness is just a repeated pattern over and over and over. And some people weren't meant to be great, and they will be purged and not come back. That's part of the process. They're like, well, my account's down. Good. What did you learn? What did you learn? Did you learn anything? What did you learn? So as we go through and we watch, what I began to discover and what I began to see is that the market's made up of 3 things: mind, method, money. When we get into method, this is huge. Each one of these could be an entire book, and there are great books on all 3 of these. The Disciplined Trader, right? Anything by Mark Douglas does a great job of talking about mindset. The only thing that I disagree with that book is it's mostly talking about trading and not so much about investing, which is you're going to get rich from your investing. You're going to make money from your trading. Let me say it again for the slow kids in the back. You're going to get rich from investing. You're going to make money from trading. You can make great money as a doctor. You could make $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year and retire broke. And yet you made good money your whole life. Right? You understand what I'm saying? You could make a killing in Bitcoin and you're still not rich. Or you could make a killing in Bitcoin and invest it and then get rich. Grant Cardone didn't get rich from selling books and courses. Grant Cardone got rich because he took the money from selling books and courses and put it into real estate. Let me say it again for the really slow kids in the back, smoke a lot of weed. The amount of money you make is important because it's fuel to add to what you're doing. You will not get rich flipping. You will not get rich selling, trading. You will make money. Making money is honorable. We need to make money. Shit, I need to make money every day. Why? So that I can get rich. So the way I'm going to get rich is what I do with the money I make. Right? And so that's all part of method. And so you have to begin to clearly define, okay, this is an activity to make money. This is an activity to make me rich. And this is an activity to what? And so as you begin to break that down, right? Method, mind method, and then money. You're going to need money. So number 3 is money. What does that mean? It means you got to have money, right? And so that's why I'm an advocate. I think the best traders are people who are debt-free. Why? Because you got money. Duh. Like in order to be a good trader, you need obviously you need to have the right mindset. That's going to take time. You can't hack that. That's going to take years. There's people that I've personally talked with every day for 2 years. They got my courses, my books. They're right there with me. They've listened to me for 1,000 hours. And on February 24th, when Russia invaded the Ukraine, they sold their stocks. They had personal access to my cell phone. Text me. I'm selling my stocks. I'm like, don't do that. You will regret it. And they did it anyway. On this day right here. February 24th. There were several inside the money flow, probably won't admit it right now. Send me a message. They were looking at getting out. And I said, don't do that. You will regret it. Why? All we did, man, is went to the next level. That's where we were supposed to go when this box broke. That's called the money flow. I've been teaching it for all these years. When that box broke, we go to the next box. Do we not? That's the rules. Where did they think it was going? I don't know where they thought it was going. I knew where it was going. That box. And then what? What's the most bullish sign in the money flow? When a box is broken. And you say, what's a box? Well, just go with me. It's 4 days on a daily chart. Not a 5-minute chart, a daily chart. You can have boxes on a 5-minute chart, but that's not what we're talking about. Now, why did it stop here? Well, because it stopped here before. Price has memory. And so here's what I know. I don't know the direction. I don't know the future, but I know when it breaks, it goes to the next one. So where's the next box? Right there. Well, it went through that one. Where's the next one? Up here. And look where it stopped. Right where it stopped before. Where did it stop? Down here. Right where it stopped before. Now, is that flawless? Does that give us some? It does give us an edge. It does give us an edge, but it doesn't. It doesn't tell us where price is necessarily going to go, but it does give us an edge. Make sense? And so these become expectations. So if this level's broken, I expect it to go to the next one. Now, what does that allow me to do? Well, some of the components of trading are your entry, right? And inside of entry are triggers. What triggers you to buy a stock? Let's pull this Pfizer back up. What triggers you to buy a stock? Well, a couple things. Inside of the book, The Money Flow Trading System, if you have my book, I talk about this red dotted line right here. These dots. Dot, 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 right? These dots. And again, I said we don't really need them. Matter of fact, let's put Pfizer over here without it, and let's look at it. Do we need the moving averages? Could we go through and find boxes without the moving average? Of course we could. Now, the best trade setups, and you'll hear me talk about this, and it's not perfect. Again, these are repeatable patterns. Up here, we call this the RSI. RSI, all the RSI it's a technical indicator. It's based on mathematical calculations based on price of a security or contract used by traders who are involved in technical analysis is what charting is, right? Now, some people think technical analysis can be used to predict price movement. I don't believe that. I do believe that it can help you determine a set of repeatable patterns that you can then do the same thing each time you see it. And over time, those patterns prove out, and over time, you'll make money. But I don't believe that's necessarily price direction, because no one thing works all the time, right? But even with that said, we know that the stock market goes up 70% of the time. It's going up, which means I got 30% of the time to contend with, and the 30% of the time is usually what's going to purge you unless you're a short trader. Whenever this indicator, all it measures is price movement over a period of 14 days. It's called the RSI. Now, some people will try to use this wrong because they still think they know price direction. And when the RSI goes extreme, they're looking to go short. These are degenerate gamblers usually. Nothing wrong with that. They can't help it. It's in their nature. They're gambling. Fine. That's nothing wrong with that. It's just not what I do. Okay? I'm trying to do a repeatable pattern that'll work over time. And I know that most of the time stocks go up. So what I'm looking for is to find boxes on the extreme lows and boxes on the extreme highs. Because on the extreme high means I probably should take profits and, maybe you close it out. That's not usually what I do. I usually look to take profits. And on extreme bottoms, I'm looking for a bottom or a reversal, right? So I'm looking, is there support there? Has it ever stopped here before? If there isn't any support, then I start looking, can I build a box? Which means I need to find an anchor point. The anchor point is the lowest low before the box starts being built. Once I have 4 days that hold that gives me, I can say, hey, there's a box, right? There's a box. Well, guess what? If I lay this 20-day moving average on here, you're going to see about right there price, probably, let's pull it back a bit, probably right around in there, price is going to break out above that 20-day moving average. Let's see if I'm right. So I don't need the 20 once you've looked at charts more than you've looked at football. Some of you guys wonder why you're broke. You watch more football than stock charts. Look at that. It's almost like I picked the fucking day. Now, how is that possible? Because I look at it all the time? Damn, that was the exact day. How about that? Bam! Now, why? That's just from looking at patterns over and over and over, over and over and over and over and over. Let me turn off comment. We got a lot of Arabs on here. When I get the Arabs, I got to turn the comments off, man. They'd be saying some crazy shit. I was in Iraq. They might be looking for me. So there's our breakout. Now, what's our pattern? Well, where price has been before, price tends to stop. Boom, right? So I would be looking at trimming if I was trading Pfizer. What do you mean trading? Trimming. That's up to you. Bought 100 shares, maybe you sell 10. Maybe you sell 20. Smaller the amount of money you have, probably the more you sell. Also, while it hasn't hit yet, that tells us there is more room to the upside. See, as long as that's below 70, I know price is not extreme. It can go higher. It can go higher and higher and higher. But we're at a previous high. So what I'm looking for is a repeatable pattern that allows me to set targets, honor those targets, take down some money, and then I want to leave some. You only say, well, what if price keeps going? Good. We just took some down. Where's our next target? Right around in there, right? And so as this would move up, I would begin to scale out. And that would be what I'd want. You say, well, I should have held off. No. Don't see it like that. It's not all in, all out. It's repeatable pattern. because sometimes it would have dropped on you, right? And so that's if we were over here deconstructing the trade, right? We're over here deconstructing the trade. There's our pivot point, right? There's our pivot point. Now, it's easy to do in the past, and you should do them in the past because then it helps you do them going forward so you see what it looks like, right? There's our breakout. There's the stage 2 breakout that I talk about in the book. Where's previous high? Could be here. That's probably a little low, and probably the one I'm going to trade to is up in here. And then what happened? Bam, bam, we hit them, right? Then what? RSI goes extreme, so I want to take some down. And now what am I going to do? I'd stay with this trade until, if you have the money flow, until what? The moving averages cross over to the downside. So while I'm watching that, this is what I'm thinking about. What stage are we in? So if we're in a stage 2, price is going up. Price is going up. But a lot of times when we're in a breakout, this is what I get from people. You think it's a dead cat bounce. And here's what I say in my head. You don't fucking believe in the money flow. There's no dead cat bounce. Price is breaking out or it's not. Right? So for me, I don't have a way of answering that question because I don't know where the fuck price is going. And the only way you would know that assumes that you know what price is going to do. And since I know that's not possible, it's a stupid conversation. And you say, well, what if it's a head fake? Again, I don't know what that is. What do you mean a head fake? Well, what if it doesn't keep going up? Okay, so I shouldn't take my breakout signals is what you see. But I can't have this conversation because it doesn't make any sense. So I'm not going to take my breakout because what? You're scared? What, money? It might come down, okay? So it comes down. Then what? Same thing. Wait for the stage 1. Wait for the setup, man. So once you get to where you can operate and you have control of your brain and you understand chaos theory that nobody actually knows, that all we can do is honor what is happening in front of us. So what am I going to do? Intellectually talk myself out of a breakout? So when COVID happened, we had the big crash and it went down, down, down. And we started trying to buy the bottoms. Every time it would rally, dead cat bounce, blah, blah, blah. It would be all this negative shit. Well, guess what? A lot of people were very, very, very wrong. And we bought the bottom. At least I did. And then it went higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. And then after it's up about 30, 40%, then everybody on the news and people like, well, I guess we're in an uptrend. Yeah, no shit. No shit. So what these repeatable patterns allow you to do and why the money flow is fractal is that's what helps me with my mind because I can eliminate and if I understand chaos theory that nobody knows, man. It's the whole point of chaos is they don't know, man. Law of chaos states that no one knows anything. Price can and will do anything. Price can climb to extreme valuations to the point of absurdity and drop to prices so low you can't even believe it. So when you meet someone who tells you, hey man, this is going to XYZ, understand you're talking to a crazy person. They don't know. No matter how much I love Uber, I don't know where it's going. I can do fundamental research and determine a price point, right? But that doesn't mean I know. I don't know when it's going to do it. I have no idea of knowing when it's going to do it, right? Let's see. Man, I'm telling you, once you understand that, something as simple as that, which we got a little breakout going Uber, it will free you. It will free your mind, man. You'll be so much freer. And you're like, wow, so you mean that guy talking on CNBC or YouTube doesn't know? Nope. And all your friends that think they know, just when you hear him talking, just think, oh my God, this guy has no idea what he's talking about. Here's what we do know. Over time, stocks go up. Now, this is the one that cracks me up the most. So, look at this. I'm so sad. 2 of my good friends sold all their stocks on February 24th when Russia invaded because they thought it could be a global war. This could be really bad. And they sold all their stocks on the lowest low. I don't know how you could know me, be this close to me, and how you even got my cell phone number, that you would do this. That after 2 years, you still you mean 2 years you weren't working on your mindset, that you allowed your stocks to be sold on that day, which means they have to start over now. 2 years of work gone. It's out the window. You have to start over. Instead of being a victory, like, wow, I held, moved up, I bought some stage ones, now we're moving higher, and having a celebration, you have a failure. And you have to start all over. And that'll happen. Nature purges the weak. And it doesn't mean, that's not an insult to them. Life circumstances can put you in a situation where you find yourself weak. Maybe something bad's happened to you. Maybe you lost a job. That's why I say, if you're fighting with your spouse, if you're unhappy at work, if you have a lot of debt, it's going to spill over into your trading, and you're not going to do well. It's going to catch you at a certain point. It's so important to guard your mind, man. So important. This chart in front of you is a day chart. Price charts are a sequence of prices plotted over a specific time frame. My time frame is the daily. I don't need any. Now, sometimes as I began to teach this to people will bring in the weekly and they'll say, Gerald, but what about? There is no what about. I'm looking at this right here. I'm looking at the daily. I'm not looking for other information to conflict with the money flow. I'm assuming price is going to continue to flow through these stages. It's going to go accumulation. It means it moves sideways. It's going to break out and move up. And then it's going to go sideways. And then it's going to break down and come down. I have no delusions. I have no idea how far an uptrend goes or how far a downtrend goes. And a trend is determined for me by basically the 20-day moving average. If price is above it, it's trending up. But not just the 20. I need the other moving averages to be on this side of the line. So they need to be on that side, right? And as they're on that side, then, well, prices are going to trend higher. Where are they going to go? Where they were before. So this is the S&P. So I would fully anticipate it stops right around in here and then probably, right around in here. That's where it'll go. Is that predicting price? No. And if it stops and turns around, where do you think it'll go? Probably right around in here because that's where it went before, right? So these are where I expect it to go. And that's the randomness of price direction. So based on how I want to trade or invest, I can use that randomness and these patterns, these fractal patterns, to my advantage. So if I'm an investor, doesn't it make sense to buy these more than to buy, say, these? I mean, do I want to buy it after it's run up? No, right? So I want to buy stage ones. So if I'm an investor and you say, well, I'm a long term, I get this a lot. I buy and hold stocks. I don't really, you don't need a fucking repeatable pattern of when to buy them on the low side? They're like, well, I hold them forever. Oh, okay. You don't like to buy things cheaper? Do you do that at a car dealership? You go in and go, hey, Mr. Salesman, I really don't give a fuck about the price. Charge me whatever. I just want to leave here with a car. I'm going to drive it for the next 20 years. Really don't matter what I pay for it. No, nobody would say that about any other thing in their life. Nobody does that about anything. So there's zero reason to do it with stocks. But the reason it'll work in stocks, and this is the beautiful thing about stocks, is if we back up to a weekly, each one of these bars is 1 week. Each one is 1 week. What is it you see on this chart? Looks like it goes up. Now what if we went to each one of these bars was 1 month? Man, you know how many people have come and gone in investing. Look at this. So look at this. Each one of these is 1 month. And every once in a while, look, month. Look at that. 2 months straight down. Straight down. Look over here. 2 months down. Now it's turning back up, right? And you just go through here. You're going to see these long runs, a little bit of a pullback. Long run, pullback. Long run, pullback. Long run, pullback. right? We could take this all the way back to like 1850. What about Bitcoin? Let's put in Bitcoin. Everybody's got opinions about Bitcoin, right? What do you see with Bitcoin? Now, yeah, people sell Bitcoin. Now, we could go, remember I said, 3 components to mind, method, and money. So, if we come back here and we look, what do you see on Bitcoin? Its entire fucking life, it's gone up, dude. For 14 consecutive years, it's gone up. And periodically, you have these moments where it runs up too high, sells off pretty low, and that's 50-something% correction, right? And then look, here's another nice correction, right? And it runs up, and then what? Big, nice correction. And now we've been dealing with that, right? We ran up, now we're kind of correcting again. And inside of this movement, I promise you, if you go to YouTube right now, you will see all kinds of people with all kinds of price predictions, and not one of them have any fucking idea what they're talking about. They have no idea. Chaos theory states that. The randomness of the market states that. They have no idea. They do not know where it's going at all. Not Kathy Woods, not you, not your friend, not because you're an expert in NFTs. You don't know shit. You have no idea where the price of Bitcoin is going because you can't. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You don't know. Congress could do anything. Like anything could happen. It could go up. It could go down. But what do we know? That over time, it just goes higher. And for 14 years, that's what it's done. Runs up, goes to absurd prices, pulls back, drops way too low. Why? Why is it doing that? What do you think? Purging? The weak traders crumble and give their capital to those who can withstand the chaos of the market. Chaos to cash is for those who want to learn to decode the formula for victory. Fact is, nature has a crafty system that eliminates the weak from gaining too much power and authority, and nature purges itself of the people who will not be able to handle the pressure. Nature does this to make sure that the strong people will be around to assist her in keeping everything in order. So all you've had to do to get rich in Bitcoin, all you've had to do to get rich, period, is just buy a bunch of Bitcoin and sit on it. Now, we can look at that, and yet people aren't doing it. 14 consecutive years, and yet people aren't doing it. Why aren't they doing it? Now, not just Bitcoin. We look at NASDAQ. Look at the QQQ. Beautiful move off the bottom, right? Now, what makes it hard is the shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter your time frame goes, the more clear and clearer and clearer and clearer and disciplined you have to become. Usually to a level that most people can't be that disciplined. They're not that disciplined in any area of their life. Yet they're going to come into trading and try to do it. They never could stay on a diet. They can't stop doing it. I mean, they can't finish a book. And yet you're going to come into something like trading where the smartest people get up every day around the world to take your money. And somehow here in this environment, you're going to excel. Are you? It's pretty tough, man. So the lower your time frame comes in, lower and lower and lower that time frame, the more skilled you better be and the more disciplined you better be. And the only way that happens isn't from reading a fucking book. You're not going to read a book. And a guy yesterday sent me, I'm going to read your book, Gerald. First, I got to finish this book and this book. You know how stupid that is? Okay, so you think you're going to read those 3 books and then what? So what's the point of reading the next book if you didn't apply the information from the first book? I'm just going to read. That doesn't do shit for you. You understand that, right? It's read and apply and then reread. So the way you get good at the piano is you play fucking chopsticks over and over and over and over and over, right? And then once you master that, you what? You add another thing. Okay, we're going to add this scale. You're going to practice the C scale. And then you're going to do that for a while. And then they don't say, oh, go learn these 12 songs. That's not how you do it, man. That's not how you do it. They don't do it that way in basketball. That's not how you become a great golfer. But yet in the entrepreneur, investing, whatever space, I watch people cranking out book after book, and it's like, it's fucking useless. You're not retaining any of the information. That's why I harp on people like, well, I'm in this trading group and that trading group. Good. You're in two. It means you're not doing shit. I already know that. You can't comprehend all the information in two fucking groups. You can't comprehend all the information in my group. What good is being in two groups going to do? Or knowing 3 strategies. You can't do one. It's hard to do one. It took me a fucking lifetime to master the money flow. Like, I'm telling, this is life, man. It's what you'll do, the simplest and the most mundane of things, over and over and over and over and over and over, that makes people masters. Not how many things could they read or take in or look at. It really is, man. It really is the case. You got people buying tokens and you don't even understand Bitcoin. Now, you think you do intellectually. You really don't understand it. You ain't spent 1,000 hours studying Bitcoin. And yet they're buying this coin and ape coin and that coin. Fucking ridiculous. Kids. That's what children do. Scattered brains, man. Don't understand. You have to narrow this shit down. You can't comprehend all these things I see people doing and be a master at any of them. Impossible. To understand dividend stocks, and I mean truly understand them, it's going to take you fucking years. To understand how they relate, the different sectors, the type of company it is, how it's going to respond to interest rate rises or a Democratic president or a Republican president, how that's going to affect your portfolio, right? The different types of products they make. You know that Pepsi gets 4.5% of their sales from Russia? Did you know that before the Russian war? Highly doubt it. I highly doubt that. Why? Because that would require fucking mastery. Like, you sit around and study the stocks you own and the businesses you own. And from time, you have, like, this is how you master investing, man. It's how you master it. So when I stepped into Airbnb, I read one book. I talked to one person, and then I went and executed. And people, what about this? Don't know. Wasn't in the book. I'm executing on what I learned. And then as I go forward, I'll add other things. I don't need to read 50 books. I need to execute. So sometimes people say, well, what real estate book? You don't need a real estate book. You need to go buy real estate and execute and start learning. Right? You don't need to know another stock. You need to learn to trade the stocks you have right now. At some point, you got to decide to master something. Mastering means you stick with it. Mastering means you break it down in its most basic of core elements. So here's what I know. Over time, if I look at the NASDAQ, what can we conclude about the NASDAQ stock market? This is the monthly. This is over a decade. No, shit, this is more than that. This is like 13 consecutive years. What can we conclude? Now, I could run this back all the way to 1850, and you're going to see the same shit. Up, 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 with periodic moments of terror and sell-offs. So why, if we can look at this and we can see this, why are there people who get blown out or lose their money? Why? Why? You have to ask yourself that. This over here, let me pull this up. Doesn't look like much when you look at this chart here. This was 2008, 2009. Big sell-off, right? Massive sell-off. So if you go look at the NASDAQ, what happened to, right? Well, in 2012, we had a massive sell-off in growth stocks. Massive. Netflix cut in half. All these stocks cut in half. You know what the stories were then? Oh, they'll never come back. Really? Well, they did. Same thing I'm seeing today. Oh, they're never going to come back. Really? So part of what you have to do is study history and realize that all the people you hear talking have no fucking idea what they're talking about. No clue. Because they can't read the future. They don't know the positive things that could happen or the negative things that could happen. So get them out of your head. And you go study for yourself history. Go look at what happened, right? You can take these charts back. They go back and back and back and back. You can take them all the way back to the 80s, right? Anyone shocked that oil prices are over 100? Man, that's happened 10 times, at least in my lifetime. At least 5, where oil has run up massively. So when oil's sold off, I don't need to listen to other people tell me about electric fucking cars and this and that. I've done this. I've seen this over and over and over and over. I know what it's going to do. It's going to go right back up. And so it becomes an opportunity, right? Mindset. Mind. And then do you have a method that would allow you to execute on what's going to happen, on the chaos that's going to happen in the future? You're going to have chaos in the future. So what's your plan? What's your plan? Somebody in our group yesterday, I think I deleted your comment. I was just shocked he said it, man. It's unfortunate. And he said, you can't get rich with like Amazon and Tesla. What the fuck are you talking about? Of course you can. Of course you can. Because every so often, Amazon and Tesla and all these stocks, these great companies, get smashed. Geopolitical fears, recessions. What are you talking about? You can't. Of course you can. They get smashed. And when they come down, you buy some, right? You buy some. And if you do that consistently over a long period of time, it's called math. You become wealthy. And we could define what does wealthy mean. Well, Now, you may say, and I think your statement, sir, was, well, not everyone has an account like Warren Buffett. Well, first off, that's fucking third richest man in the fucking world. So I think it's a little ridiculous that that's your example. No, nobody does because he's the richest guy. So yeah, duh. It's also not his money. He's a hedge fund. He runs a fund, guys. He's not, everybody compares him like, well, I want to trade like you. Understand they're in a different business than you. They're not trading their own money in their mom's basement. This is other people's money they're trading. You can't compare yourself to Ray Dalio, Warren Buffett, or fucking Kathy Woods. They are not running their own money. They're running other people's money. They have PhDs in economics. All they do is live, eat this shit all day long. So you can't compare yourself to that. That's like saying, well, fuck, man, I don't play like Tiger Woods, so I'm just not going to play golf. Well, no shit. He's an outlier. So that's not our example. We got to go to people who are normal people or people like me that have become wealthy or built wealth or have acquired, and that becomes your example. And if you go look, guess what they own? Most of them, boring shit. They didn't buy XYZ coin and it went bzzz, and that's how they got wealthy. Those are outliers. Now, if you catch that, great. Good for you. But if that's your plan, you're going to catch something that you think somehow it's going to go up, then you're fucked. Because the chances of that happening are pretty damn slim. Maybe it does, and for your sake, I hope it does. But let me tell you what does work. So the fact you even fucking posted that in my forum tells me you don't believe in the money flow. You don't believe in time times amount times yield. You basically don't believe in all the shit I've spent 2 years posting, teaching, and trying to share with people. Hello? Why don't you go fuck with somebody else's work, huh? Can't even believe that post. And he may say, well, I didn't mean it like that. Well, how the fuck you think I'm going to take it? This shit takes time, and it's not easy, and it's hard, right? And it's not going to fucking cater to you. And it's going to purge you. That statement tells me you've been purged already. Blows my mind, man. The shit that comes out of people's mouths. And you're supposed to be smart. So don't think I didn't notice that little comment. You owe me a fucking apology, by the way. You know who you are. So anybody telling you you can't make money on big caps and you can't make a fortune just doesn't know how to fucking trade. Of course you can. Of course you can. You could have bought you could have bought $50,000 in call options right here, and you'd have made a shit ton of money. Right? Now, I wouldn't advocate doing that, but to tell someone they can't, it's ridiculous. Of course you can. Where's Amazon right now? I don't. Look at this. It's gone from 2,700 to 3,200. That's a 20-something% move in less than 2 weeks. In less than 2 weeks, man. So if a guy sits around and he just accumulates shares of Amazon on all these stage ones, he's doing pretty good right now, you know. Even if you bought some over here because you're accumulating share count, right? And as this thing goes up, guess what? As it gets back up into here, it's going to be a bunch of money, man. It's going to be a bunch of money. If you don't believe that, go trade with someone else. I don't know what to tell you. You've lost your mind. This is how the stock market works, man. The stock market is not a one-time transaction. It's about what you do. It's about playing chopsticks at the piano over and over and over. It's not about reading another book and another book and another book and another book. It's about reading one, learning it, mastering, executing on it. You don't need another book. That's why I stopped recommending books. It's fucking useless. You're just going to read books after books. You need to execute. That means everything you need is in the money flow. You need to execute on it every fucking day, over and over and over, because you can't fix the books you should be reading then should be on how to have more discipline, how to be consistent, how to manage my money, how to eliminate debt. You don't need another book on stocks. It's everything in there, man. Everything in there. You don't need another book on stocks. You need a book on mindset, man. You need a book on managing your money. You need a book on how to handle your wife. You need a book on how to deal with your husband or how to take care of your kids. That's what you need a book on. You don't need another book on stocks. You have everything you need. You need to execute on it over and over and over, and it's fucking boring. And that's life, and that's real estate. It's boring. And if you're finding some incredible excitement out of it, you're probably doing it wrong. It's not exciting. It's boring. Or you're brand new. There's nothing exciting about it. It's just the same shit over and over. And so once you master something, it's the same thing, man. You know, it's going to go up. Why did it stop here? Well, that's what the money flow says. Price moves in 4 stages. It goes sideways, creates a box, goes up, goes sideways, creates a box, comes down. Where does it stop? Where it stopped before. Then what? Then it goes up. Where's it going to stop? Where it stopped before. Like, there's nothing exciting about this. It's the same shit over and over and over. But people will crave excitement. They really want to gamble. Right? Go gamble. Go gamble. Don't gamble in the stock market. Gamble with sports. Gamble with other things. With here, do a repeatable pattern that'll work over and over and over and over and over and over. And that's how price moves. And you say, well, you know, maybe it doesn't. Okay, well, I don't know what to tell you. This is how price moves all the time. It moves in 4 stages. Now, the stages can get convoluted. You can have times where they're not as picture perfect, right? But this is why we trade more, 10, 20 different stocks. This is why we have portfolio management, right? This is why we're in different sectors. So the big lesson to me for a lot of people has been you're all in one sector. You're in all biotech. You're in all penny stocks or all growth stocks. So when the war kicked off, right? What happened to Exxon? Exxon ran, right? We had big moves out of Exxon, these big moves. Well, you have to own oil stocks in order to take advantage of that. Right? What else moved? LMT, Lockheed Martin, right? Big moves on Lockheed Martin. So what did this allow me to do? To outperform the market. So when the market was down 7, 8, 9%, I was down like 2%, 1%. Because I had oil stocks in these stocks that were going up, offsetting my losses, right? Well, when were we buying these? Not here. Buying them back here when it fell under the 200 and put in a box and started to go sideways. Actually, our buy day was right here. If you go back and look, that's when we bought. Why? Because I like to buy dividend stocks when they fall under the 200 and buy stage ones here and here and here. Now my friend will say, but you can't get rich buying all. Really? Because that looks like it went from 320 to 470 in a very short period of time. And this is not some secret stock, guys. This is Lockheed Martin, a massive fucking company. Right? Massive company. Massive company. So, yes, you can. If you keep repeating this pattern, what was the pattern? Of buying undervalued assets when they set up in stage ones. So when was the best time to buy oil? Stage ones, not when everybody else was buying it. We want to be selling it then. So we were selling some here, and then we sold some up in here. Why? Because the price was ridiculous. The price had gone too high, right? Price had gone too high. Law of chaos states that no one knows anything. Price can and will do anything. Price can climb to extreme price valuations to the point of absurdity and then drop to prices so low you can't even believe it. And you say, well, I don't know about that. Okay, look at Ford. Take it back to a weekly. Ford fell to $4. Now right here, $4, a lot of my friends would have sold the stock and been saying stupid mantras like this stock is killing me and all the other bullshit people say. Right? So instead of seeing opportunity, they saw fear and low, right? Not everyone, though. Not everyone. Some people are smart. And so this is where you have to get control of your mind. Okay? Your mind. This is where you get control of it. And you say, okay, well, fuck, why is it $4? And we start to try to see the price is. So when someone, what about the price? And I say, well, what about the company? Are you reading? Are they going out of business? Well, no. You need to know, man. It's not just about price. Now, if you're just trading price movement, that's fine. You need to have rules, entries, exits, triggers, targets, and stops, and then honor them. In my experience, people can't do that. They can't do that. They can't consistently do that. But if that's what you're trying to do, then you do that. And you practice with a small, you don't start buying options. You learn to execute. How to buy, what's your trigger, where are your targets, support resistance levels, set the targets, and then execute. So if you sit down at the piano, you got to learn chopsticks. You got to play it 10,000 times. You don't go buy another piano book and another piano book and another piano book and another piano book and another piano book. You execute on the basics and you learn the keys and where to put your hands and you do it over and over and over and over. Same here. So was Ford going to go? No, this was COVID. So nobody's buying cars and they cut their dividend. Look now. Oh my God, there is no cars. Price of the stock goes to fucking $26, which was way too high. So we're selling some. So we're buying some and then selling some. But the guy, what if you bought it over here? Well, you're crying now. A lot of crying goes on when there should be buying going on. And so as you begin, this is all mindset. You got to get your mind around it, right? And the moment you can do that, then this game will get easier and easier and easier and easier. So if we can, I can just roll through them. We can just go, when was the best time to buy Exxon? These are stocks we own. It looks to me, I don't know, call me stupid, but $27 looks like a pretty good time to have bought it. I had a lot of people mad at me telling them to buy oil down here because I liked oil up here. Well, if I liked oil up there, I'm really going to like oil down here. Or no. Or no. So when my friend says you can't make money in these big companies like this, those days are over. You can't make money in Amazon and blah, blah, blah. Really? Bullshit. Because here's Exxon, $27, and then the other day it was almost $100. So tell me again how you can't make money in big cap stocks. What are you talking about? Are you out of your mind? Of course you can't. Now, you may not be able to. Maybe you're not disciplined enough to watch the stocks every day, playing chopsticks over and over and over and over, doing the repetitive thing over and over and over, which is what? I want to buy stage ones, right? Maybe you can't do that. I can do that because I've witnessed history. So careful what you're hearing, man, and what people are saying around you. And you have to see, you have to look at that in the big picture, man. Money flow system's a trend following strategy. It's based upon the idea that over time the stock market goes up at least 71% of the time. But the problem is it's not a straight line. And so let's get off this weekly. It's not a straight line. Look at a stock. Here's a growth stock, ENVX. This is one that I like. And what you'll see is that prices move in 4 stages. And prices will go sideways, then they'll run up, and they'll go sideways, and then they'll come down, and then they'll go sideways, and then they'll run up. And don't let moving averages trick you up. They're just there to help, to assist you determine what stage are you in. Because based on what stage you're in is based on what you should do. But it's also determined on what your goals are. So your goal for a stock may be different than my goal for a stock. So if I own a stock that I'm invested in and it runs up, I may not do anything. I'm not obligated to do anything just because it went to a stage 3. Stage 3 can become a stage 1 and it keeps going higher. And over time, stock prices go higher. And you say, well, what do you mean? Look at Pepsi. One day, Pepsi will be $300. Now, you'll say, well, I can't buy any because one time I bought it for $80 and, well, now it's $160, and that's much higher than I paid, so I'm not buying it anymore. We realize how silly that is as you spend time in the stock market and you see McDonald's was a $50 stock and then it was a $100 stock and it sold off and dropped to $70 and then it ran up to $150 and then it sold off and dropped it and then it just continued to climb higher and higher and higher, and you're like, well, I can't buy any because I bought it at 50 once. And this is a problem you're going to have to overcome. That's mindset. This stock will be a $200, $300, $400 stock as the Dow Jones climbs higher and higher. So the Dow Jones now is at 30-something thousand. Well, guess what? When you were born, it was a lot less. And guess what's going to happen? So the market doubled. Dow's going to go to 60,000. Now, in your mind, that number seems big. It's just a double. It doubles about every 7 to 10 years. So it's going to be 60-something. And then when you're grandpa and your kids are little, it's going to be 250-something thousand. And they're going to be like, Grandpa, why didn't you buy it? And it looks so obvious. When you look back on the chart, it just goes straight up. You're going to say, because I got purged. I was scared, and I got purged. Or you can say, well, son, the reason we're at this beautiful beach house is I like to buy stage 1s and just hold my stocks. And that's what I did. Now we're rich. That's an option to say too. And that's what, we can trade them. So separate your trading from your buy and hold. Separate it. And every time this stock goes on sale like this, there's your buy signal, you buy some. And you just hold it. Simple. Now, what if we're trading? Well, same thing. Except we're going to have an exit plan. Right? There's our stage 1 buy. Where's our targets? Previous high. And right? So as this stock moves up, we sell some. And as it moves higher, we sell some. And then what? We're looking for the stage 4, right? Where price starts to roll over. So when we come to the money flow, we got to ask ourselves, what is my goal? What am I trying to accomplish? What stage am I in? Right? And we help determine that. Where's the 5-day exponential? Where's the 10-day? Where's the 20-day? Where's the RSI? Where's support and resistance, right? This gives us targets, right? And where's the MACD? How do we use this MACD to let us know when a stage has ended? Well, these things line up together. RSI goes extreme, right? RSI goes extreme. We get our 4 days. There's our lowest low. That's our anchor point. I get my 4 days where price holds it. Then I come down, I look at the histogram, and it's ticking that way. That tells me the momentum to the downside is gone. I've got my anchor point, which is the lowest low. I've got my 4 bars, which tells me the down move is probably over. What now? Boom. I can enter. Right? Now I can add on the breakout, target, target. And now I've mapped out the trade. I don't need another trading book. I don't need another fucking course. I need to execute on that 10,000 times. Execute on that 10,000 times. You know what doesn't fix shitty trading? Doing options. You're just going to be a shitty options trader. You know what'll make you a great options trader? Doing this 10,000 times. Because during that process of 10,000 times, you're going to learn about market cycles. You're going to learn about sectors of the S&P 500. You're going to learn the difference between an industrial stock right? And a tech stock, right? Or a big cap tech and a small cap tech. You're going to learn the difference between what a growth stock and a penny stock. You're going to learn these, and now you can begin to take that applied knowledge and execute on it, right? And in the meantime, so you want to study like portfolio management, building out portfolio. You don't need another execution like buy when green light. Like that's not your problem. That's not the problem. This is every stock on planet Earth, when they move higher, break out above this green line. All of them. All of them. They all do. Right? And a bottom looks the same on all of them. You're going to have an anchor point. Price is going to get over the 4-day or 5-day, and you're going to have 4 days. So if this stock goes to 174, that pattern will play out. You can say, well, that's Pepsi. What about Tesla? Same thing. Right? Same thing. Same thing. Now, what if it pulls back? Yeah, that's the chaos of the market. We don't know. We don't know how far it goes. We don't know how low it goes. I don't know where it's going. Here's what I know. When this gets extreme, pretty good chance it might turn. May not. I don't want to cut off the run, so I trim some. So I create rules in a systematic process around the chaos that is life, that is the stock market. Same in life. You need rules around yourself, right? You need rules. I hope you have rules for yourself, right? I need to work out this many days. I need to save money. I need to pay this first. I need to talk to my kids. Like you create rules for yourself, right? I can't do this or I can't do that. I shouldn't lie. I need to practice this. I need to do that. Like you create rules for yourself, order out of the chaos of life. And when you wake up, shit starts coming at you that tries to get in the way of that order you're trying to create for yourself, right? That's what makes it tough, man. That's what makes it tough. Science of Getting Rich says the ownership of money and property comes as a result of doing things in a certain way. Those who do things in this certain way, whether on purpose or accidental, get rich, while those who do not do things in a certain way, no matter how hard they work or how able they are, remain poor. It's a natural law that like causes always produce like effects, and therefore any man or woman who learns to do things in a certain way will infallibly get rich. Let me leave you with a warning. You're going to come across people that claim to have secret knowledge. And if they don't claim to have secret knowledge, they're going to tell you there's a great wealth transfer coming. Now, when I was younger, it was different things. Today it's crypto. Before crypto, it was gold. Before gold, it was other things. There's always a group of people who feel like they know something you don't know. That they have some kind of secret information or secret knowledge, or you're not, and it's always extreme. Truth is, that's not how people get rich. Now, not saying there's not a new sector or some new industry or something that you can't invest in and make a lot of money. Of course you can. I'm highly invested in crypto. But you'll see people who then put everything in there and give up on what always works. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. You want to spread yourself. All right? Because you don't know what's going to work. Because you don't know the future. You don't know what laws are going to be passed. You don't know what wars are going to happen. You don't know. And so this is why there's got to be some diversification in what you're doing. And be careful of these mind cults, these cults of personality that'll bring you in. And it's like, everything is this. Careful of that. There's people who do that. And it usually starts with the great wealth transfer. You'll see it in ads. It's prevalent in Bitcoin. And I love Bitcoin. But that doesn't mean people aren't going to get rich just owning the S&P 500 or owning, There's a lot of ways to get rich. So be careful, because when you go all in on something like that, the possibility of zero is there. And you need to eliminate zero from your possibility. And you need to protect yourself from your own enthusiasm. You can fall, oh, I love her. I love her. She's the one. And then there's another one. And then another one. And then maybe another one. See what I'm saying? So part of protecting yourself, mind, method, money, is to protect yourself from yourself. Constantly having to protect myself from myself. Man, you guys, I hope you have a great weekend. Each week I try to present the money flow in a different way. Otherwise it'd be quite boring. I'm not getting alerts from Mr. Peters when he goes live. Well, bro, I go live every Sunday morning at the same time. How about that? All right, man. You guys be good.